Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy M.I. Sizzle in the building. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's Tech and Talk. They got a special guest with me today. Gonna be kicking it with our boy LeeVanDam, all the way from Middle Georgia, coming up here to talk on this subject matter with us. And today we're gonna be talking about why I'm deciding to get married, right? This is a topic we touched on a little bit before. We talked about the subject matter of marriage before. This is going to be a different spin on things. Last time we talked about marriage, we really just talked about the pros and the cons of marriage. Some of the pros being tax breaks under certain circumstances. Also having different benefits you can glean from, you can share. It makes it easier access to a lot of benefits. Certain marriages, marital arrangements, you can kind of split. Your company's got good benefits and theirs don't got that great of benefits. You can kind of merge them together, come up with the best deal. And another thing is, obviously family structure is best supported by the marital system. When you have two people that are coming together in union, that definitely always makes for it makes for the best outcomes statistically. So that's what we are going to be here talking about. At least that's what we know about marriage thus far, based upon the marriage stream that we did before. But today we're going to get a different outlook, right? We got somebody here that's actually getting married. And we're not gonna spoil much about it. We're gonna go ahead and talk to the guy himself, the one and only LeeVanDam. Lee, what's going on with you, player?
Hey man, how's it going? It's been a long time.
Oh, hold on, there you go. All right.
Hey man, how's it going? It's been a long time. Long time.
All right. Now, tell us a little bit about you, the person.
Okay, well, there's a lot of people that know me as L-Trap2K because that's when I was playing hard and doing some real cheap stuff in Tekken back in the day. And I adopted LeeVanDam when I wanted to kind of start a business, and Lee had this really cool move that looked like Jean-Claude Van Damme, so it sounded like a good idea.
Okay.
But I've been playing Lee now for over 20 years, and he's been a lot of fun. He's taught me a lot of lessons. And he even helped me start a company because I was looking back at things and I said, well, you know what? If we were to put Lee in real life, he actually has a very, very healthy outlook on things. He's a businessman.
All right.
He keeps in shape with fighting. He's a very high earner, likes to invest. And one thing that he likes is women, but he takes relationships into a really interesting perspective. So he always tries to put himself in the best place that he can, regardless whether it's family, friends with privileges, whatever the case may be. If you look back, Lee's been on top. Very, very smart man. And so with the Mistrap movement, which you can find me on Instagram.
I see the shirt.
You too. Appreciate it. That's what we talk about. We talk about video games, we talk about business, investing, and talk about women, just like Lee would. So it's been a really, really interesting journey because he's been able to teach me a lot of lessons about how you can really navigate through life and cut out your stress and really take things upon yourself to be the best person that you can be. And so I've been really, really happy. Probably the happiest I've been my whole life. Just taking life by the horns, man,
Okay. So here we come here today to talk about this subject matter that's contentious for some. For others it's delightful. Some people it's a dream. Some people don't want to hear it at all, right?
That's fair. Yeah, that's right.
And that's give me that again, mistrapmovement.com.
I've got the website, but right now, Mistrap Movement on Instagram. Okay. You can also find me on YouTube. That's where all of the long tournaments are going to be. Lots of long sets. Your set's on there.
Okay.
We had a good time down in MacTown.
Indeed. Make sure y'all check that out at Mistrap Movement.
Right.
All right. Now, what we're going to do here, if y'all are familiar with the segment of Tech and Talk, we're not just going to make you look at our meme bugs, okay? We're not going to make you do that. All right, we're going to have some gameplay up here while we talk about what we talk about. Listen, I hope you all glean something from this information here, because we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it and really decipher what about marriage, what you are here doing, and make sure that y'all check that out right there. You can go to that link, follow them on Instagram, check out all the merch and everything that's going on there, and let's get into it. So, first question I want to ask you about, right?
Okay.
Have you ever been married before?
I have.
Okay. All right, so you've been married before.
Yes.
All right, now, what happened with that marriage?
I learned that you can't go into marriage with the wanting to be married. Like, you can't fall in love with the idea of being married, because my ex-wife, we're great friends, but it's one of those things where she basically was also enjoying the idea of being married and the idea of being taken care of, but she didn't want to be my wife.
Gotcha.
And so, once you stop denying that and you realize that it's not two people working together, I let her go with love, and our divorce was back in 2018. So that way, she could find someone more of what she really wanted.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this: with the situation,
Yes.
We often hear a lot about divorce. How did your divorce pan out?
My divorce was the cleanest divorce you'll probably hear about, outside of Kevin Federline, outside of K-Fed. So basically, what I chose to do is I paid off all her debt, and I just gave her all the stuff as far as in the house and everything, so that way she could start a new life. And I moved on, and that was it. So super clean, super easy. We even hugged kids, went to lunch after signing the papers. So
Very amicable.
Very amicable. Still friends to this day.
That's always good to hear. So I guess when you have that kind of situation going on,
right,
it makes it a lot less dramatic.
Right.
So this next question is, given the outcome of that, what has made you decide to get married again?
Well, marriage is one of those things where you're basically two business owners who are deciding to come together and really make things happen and take your lives to the next level. So when you're in a when you're in a marriage where both people are working together, you stand a good chance of both people being better than what they were going into it. And with men, especially, I think we get a really great sense of pride when we can really help people. It's one of those things where we can kind of measure what's going on in our lives, because you're doing well once you can take care of yourself. Then you're doing even better when you can take care of another person. Then you're doing better when you can take care of a family. Then you're doing better when you can take care of the community. So these measurements really help us figure out where we are in life. And so you can go through it alone, and that's great if you choose that. But there's something that you're going to miss if you try to take care of everything all by yourself.
Indeed. And I think that is an approach to it that you don't hear a lot. It's definitely a different take on the concept of marriage. Normally what you hear is, the lovey-dovey portions of it, the fantasies of marriage.
Yeah.
You do hear family life, but I don't think a lot of people in our day and age go into marriage under the guise of understanding it's a responsibility.
Right.
And that's one of the things that, a lot of people, they kind of fear, right? They kind of fear getting in there and their partner not wanting to live up to the same thing that they're looking to live up to.
Yes. That is a understandable fear, But if you lay that out, hey, this is my duty and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I expect from you because we're getting into this together. And so you're both able to really honestly give your expectations, then there's no fuss if things don't work out because everybody knew what they were getting into. That's why I said my divorce was clean, because things weren't being met. I said, hey, this is, we know the deal. So at that point, it was nice and easy. We had already figured out what we're going to do in the event something like that happened. And so, no one was surprised. No one was surprised at all.
Okay. So I would say that I think that more often than not, a lot of people don't give that kind of thought process to almost anything nowadays. But especially when I see marriage with the rates that they are, falling apart, I think that it's hard for me to rationalize that people are going in it with any kind of discernment.
Mm-hmm.
I know what sparked this conversation was over there in the Discord. We had a discussion.
Yep.
And if y'all aren't in the Discord, make sure that y'all join the Discord. We had question of the day, and question of the day was when you started dating, how did you look at it then versus how did you look at it now? And I think when you responded, you had very similar response to what I had, which was, I've always looked at, if I can make you a girlfriend,
yeah,
you have wife qualities, and I'm only going to look at you to make you a girlfriend if you have wife qualities. Anything else, this might be where you might vary. Anything else is a jump off for me. I mean,
right.
Anything else is you're fun for the moment. But if I ain't trying to make you my girlfriend, then you definitely probably don't have what it takes in my eyes to be the girlfriend. To be the wife in the future.
That's true.
And I always looked at marriage and relationships through the eye of obligation.
Yes.
Obligation and duty. Any girl that I've ever been with that's been my girlfriend,
mm-hmm,
they know that I tell them, like, hey, this is a big deal. If I'm your boyfriend, it's gonna be a big deal.
Right.
Like, I look at that like, now I got to come and I got to come help you when your tire is goddamn flat.
Yep.
I got to come out there and do that, right? Or I got to at least try to facilitate some type of help for you. Otherwise, I am not doing my obligation. But that also means I'm going to have some obligations that you're going to have to adhere to as well.
That's right. What you just said, a very important word with marriage. See, I think a lot of people get wrapped up in the emotion and the feeling of what marriage can bring, but the true love, it comes from the sense of duty, and that someone is going to take the responsibility to see things through, and that's very important because that's what's not happening now. You have a lot of emotionally charged relationships, and then they're put in a position when the rubber meets the road, all of a sudden things go sour. And so,
Hey, that was,
I had to think about
that.
I had to think that through. All right, but no, things go sour, and then the emotions are gone. Your feelings, they don't take care of the bills. Your feelings don't change that flat tire.
Indeed.
The feelings don't help you out when you're sick. They don't make the soup. Your feelings don't go get your medicine from the doctor. That's the duty of, I'm gonna do what I said I was gonna do when we set out on this journey together. And that's very important because when you have that, sure bad things happen, but you have a good things to look forward to because you have a track record of taking care of business.
And I think that is definitely what gets lost in translation.
Right.
A lot of people think about this stuff. It's just like, oh man, I just want to love on her, bro. I just want to love her. I love her, dog. I love her.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, bro, you can love her, but love is a fleeting thing, bro. You can love her today and not like her that much tomorrow.
That's true. Love is interesting because you have the emotion love, and then you have the action. And most of the time, if I love someone, it's based on we've been in situations enough to where I understand how you're going to work, because you've shown action as far as how you're going to approach things. And that's a big deal, because that love comes with a lot of confidence. It comes with a lot of trust. It doesn't come with expectation, more so than I at least have I know a pattern of how you'll probably operate. So there'll be some things that I trust you with and some things that I don't, based on what we've been through. And I think that part is very important too, because for both sides, once you realize the other person is choosing to love you, so they choose to wake up every morning and be there with you. They choose to, they choose to make your coffee. They choose to, they choose to vacuum. They choose to clean up. All that stuff, they don't have to do it because of love. And I think some people get that confused, and they think because of love, they're obligated to do something instead of being, appreciative because they did this. So that's how I know they love me.
Indeed.
I'll give you a fun fact about what's going on right now. So my fiance, she told me a couple of weeks ago, I have never told her that I love her.
Now that's some new.
But she knows it.
And that goes to the point that I think, like I said, a lot of people get caught up in the words, the emotional aspects of things.
Yes.
In actuality, I mean, the duty aspect of it is, to me, the most important portion. Mm-hmm. Listen, I've always told the chick, listen, really, what does it mean for me to go get married to you, right? If you are more concerned, because anybody who watched this channel who knows my idea of what I'm going to do to get married, it's definitely unconventional, right? I'm going to make sure you get taken care of.
Yep.
I'm going to make sure that things are fair should something happen between us. But my idea for marriage is definitely not an estate sponsorship, right?
Yep.
I'm not with the state until they change some laws. But I don't think that any woman I've ever been with that's even been close to the category of being married,
right?
They haven't had to guess how I felt about them.
Right.
Right. I might not talk to you that much.
Yep.
I might talk shit.
Yep.
Hey, I might even be fucked up. I might listen. I ain't the best. I ain't the best in the world when it comes to being having fidelity. Listen, don't put your stocks and bonds in me. All right.
Well,
but
yeah.
I will say this: you won't have no question about how I'm feeling about you, because I'm going to make sure you're taken care of, so that at least when I fuck up, at least when I fuck up out here in the streets,
right?
You ain't got the question, because they ain't gonna get what you get, right? And even then, that requires me to have self-control, and because to some people, that's the thing that shows them, right?
Right.
Especially, I'm modern day. Chicks ain't trying to hear that junk,
right?
And I get it. I mean, I ain't trying to hear that junk either. But that's one of my personal flaws. But nonetheless, duty has always been a big thing. Like I said, you have to be willing to, put yourself on a chopping block.
Nice. Yep.
You got to be willing to. I don't even know what I was doing just then.
You just freestyling on me. I was like, okay.
You got to be willing to put yourself on a chopping block. You got to be selfless, and that one is pretty difficult for most people.
Yes.
That's the one to get everybody messed up. A lot of the times, when it comes down to doing what you need to do versus what you want to do,
right?
Our society currently, and probably just our society,
yes,
is not very prone on doing stuff that they have to do.
True.
Only things they do that they have to do is go to work. And even then, people don't be wanting to go to work.
That's true.
If they could, they would do it, and they'd find something else to get paid for, and do that if it didn't require as much.
That's happening now, isn't it?
Indeed. We right in the middle of that, having a conversation, streaming. These are all things that, are part of the plan.
Right. And Ken Guns, you're absolutely right. Marriage is a lot of work. And so that's why it's important that everybody kind of understand what their role is, because that can be very different depending on the relationship of who's doing what. So that's one of those things that you have to iron that out. You know, you really have to.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought I was on the side of it.
Look
too.
at that.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
tracking deafness.
Yeah, that was good. But you have to really, you have to iron that stuff out, and you have to take it seriously. I was talking to a couple of my clients because they were asking about marriage in itself, and I was like, you know, I think, like you said, it's not considered a big deal, but I want you to think about it this way, Mike. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take me for an example. So with my fiance, if you wanted to look at just the financial side of marriage, right now, she's looking at a $1.4 million contract over 20 years.
Okay.
You know, so that's, and you have the ability, of course, to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that when you think about it in that terms, it's like, oh, okay, you're looking to pledge a lot into this thing.
Indeed.
And, you know, so in return for this 20-year subsidy, you know, these are the things that need to happen in order to keep this contract going. Because just like other performance-based contracts that are in sports, that are in entertainment, you know, if you don't meet your end of the bargain, why should you continue to benefit from the contract?
Exactly. And once again, those are pragmatic ways of looking at marriage in a way that you could make it feasible for people to understand, right? Yeah. You know, the idea, that was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, the sneaky, sir, sneaky.
It's not like I got married.
Listen, he got in there.
Yeah,
you
somebody
know?
snuck in.
Yeah.
To make me sign some paperwork.
Right.
But yeah, you know, the idea that when it comes to marriage, looking at it like, all right, listen, you know, what you done got yourself into, you got these benefits. You know, it's always, I think for the men especially, I kind of base a lot of things on men because I feel like there's not a lot of avenues where men get to, you know, coach other men in life situations. And men typically end up finding out stuff as they go through it.
Yes.
And so, you know, I like to be a voice for, you know, young men or even some older men who just ain't had that experience yet.
Right. Well, I think that's great. I think with men, one thing that you have to think about is you have to be able to afford your choices. And I don't think people talk about that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you can take care of yourself, that's good. If you can take care of yourself and you have a little bit of money left over, that's when you should finally consider, you know, getting with a girl. Because what if you two are together and something happens to her and she can no longer do what she was doing? You know, you got to be in place to be able to step up for those things. And I think that part is important. I think that part is lost. Because we shouldn't be going into this like a 50-50 deal and someone, you know, if someone fails to meet their end of the bargain, all of a sudden everybody's in trouble. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, say if you had a company, right, and somebody wants more money, but you can't afford it. But if you give it to them anyways, and the company goes out of business, now no one has a job.
True enough.
So how much did it really help to try to solve the problem the way that somebody else saw it?
I mean, listen, better questions have not been asked.
Right. You know, so you gotta, you know, we have to make sure that we have to do our part and then some. So when things happen, everything can be fine. I think that's one of the most powerful things that I'm able to bring to the table is that, you know, she knows that everything will be fine. She's not overly concerned if something happens because I've been already proven it'll be all right. It's fine. We'll work through it. It's not a big deal. You know, if you want to panic just because you know the emotion's there, that's fine. But deep down, she already knows it's fine. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I think that is, like I said, it's very interesting when it comes to marriage in particular. Is one of the things that I find extremely interesting.
Ooh.
Right? Hey, you needed to do something. You had to put a stop to it.
Ooh.
Before things got out of hand. See, that was somebody about to jump into marriage.
Yep.
They got stopped right before they hit the line because they didn't know what they was getting into. But now, this is what it looked like when somebody's prepared for marriage, right? When somebody's prepared, it's like that.
Uh-oh.
I was prepared for
You
it.
prepared for it that
I was
time.
prepared for everything that was coming.
Okay. Nice.
Prepared for it all.
I had to stop it.
Hey, that's how it is sometimes.
What's going on, Joe? What's going on, Panther?
Oh, good stuff.
Oh, got to bury it.
All right, so kitten guns with the people don't take marriage as seriously anymore.
True.
They don't trust to be enough to be married. And I think that, once again, that goes into the fact that, a lot of people, they look at marriage through the wrong scope, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think through our society here in maybe the last 100 or so years, love has been the underlying thing that has carried marriage.
Yes.
Whereas prior to that,
Mm-hmm.
marriage has been definitely more, like I said, more dutiful, right? It's been more about trying to do things that are going to benefit the whole.
Yes.
And it's kind of crazy because the kind of society we live in, it's like they still push marriage, but it's funny because they also push not getting married. It just really depends on what you're looking at, I assume, and what part of society you're living in, right?
Nice.
Which is, for another discussion altogether. But I do think that it is always interesting to see a person that wants to continue down that traditional path, right? Because a lot of people, they don't mind shacking up,
Right.
but to get married, to make that commitment to a person, and I believe in all forms of marriage. Like, I don't believe in just having to have the state.
Right.
I mean, the state makes things legal for some of the benefits that you'll get for it.
Yes.
But depending on where you're marrying the person and under what situation, some of them benefits you don't even get.
That's true. And to be honest with you, so a lot of people, when I was growing up, were talking about the tax break. And the tax break is not actually anything. What it is just you have a higher deduction because there's two people on the form instead of one. You can get that same tax deduction by starting a business and then just having business expenses.
Exactly.
So, it's not necessarily the same. It's not what we were taught. Yeah, it's not what we were taught at all. And the thing is that we're catching up on what we needed to know on a lot of things, especially in the financial sector. So, we have a long way to go just because we've been put in a position where, everybody wants to rob us blind, whether it's Social Security or whatever case they want to pay for. We're footing the bill. We're footing the bill for a lot of student loans because we were told that college is great and that everybody need to go. And unfortunately, a lot of my friends, they're in 5-figure debt, and that's awful because, if you look at a economic calculator, they're not going to make it out. And so that really hurts my feelings. Yeah. Because we were sold that.
Indeed. Now Panther says it's a social bag. It don't mean anything.
Okay.
What would you like to say to that?
All right. I cannot agree with it being a social badge because no one needs to know that you're married.
Indeed.
People's opinions doesn't have to have any bearing. And if you'll notice, a lot of successful athletes, a lot of successful actors and people in the entertainment business, you do not know that they're married. You don't see Denzel Washington's wife running around everywhere. You don't see, there's a lot of people where you just don't know they're married. And so they did it for themselves. Marriage is something that it affords you a lot of things because one thing it affords you is if you have a game plan and you and your spouse are on the same game plan, it affords you a lot of help you wouldn't have before. And so it also is statistically proven to be the best environment for children. So if you want children, then getting married will make sure that it's really difficult for them to fall into poverty. Oh goodness. I think it's less than a 5% chance that they'll see poverty if they're coming from a household that has a mom and a dad together.
Indeed.
There's a lot of benefits to marriage, but they all come with duty. So they all come with work, and the benefits are not immediate in a lot of cases. They are long-term benefits to where you're both able to look back at what you've built and managed and created and raised and, you know, all kinds of other words where you're bringing things up, because that's a lot of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing you said that was very interesting, and it's kind of how I look at marriage, right? Like, you need to give people the understanding, or people need to have the understanding that what you're getting out of a marriage is, you know, basically what you couldn't get by yourself.
Right.
You know, I mean, sometimes it could be a social thing. I mean, maybe if you're trying to work in a Fortune 500 company,
yes,
and you're trying to be, you know, CEO, or you want to get on the board of some sort, and they require, you know, people I don't got no combos.
Dirt. Well, you know, that's an interesting point. Just what you're talking about as far as a social badge, McPanther, it's very interesting because the more income that you have, the better off you look if you are married. You know, in some places, that's why some people will have a long time, if they don't have a girlfriend or if they don't have a partner, you know, it is not uncommon for people to have relationships with the same escort or other services to give the appearance that a relationship is going well.
Exactly.
Because it looks better to other people who may be married. And if you're married and they're married, they can trust you with certain things. And so, you know, that the social badge thing in that concept, in that context, it makes a lot of difference.
But that's not the general purpose.
Right.
No, it's not the general person is not even having that.
No.
What I do think is very interesting is that, you know, you brought up something about, once again, like what you can get out of it. Right. And not just for yourself, but what can you build? Let's say you make $50,000.
Right.
Your girl make $50,000.
Yep.
Well, y'all probably couldn't buy certain things. You probably couldn't live in a certain neighborhood.
Right.
You probably couldn't have a certain type of lifestyle when you are dependent on your $50,000, she dependent on her $50,000.
Right.
But when you mess around and put that together, now y'all making $100,000.
Exactly.
Y'all both are doing, you know, as you put it together before.
Yep.
If we both making $50,000 over 10 years, guess what? We made $1 million.
Yep.
Now, how long is it gonna take you to make $1 million at $50,000? It's gonna take you 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. All of that capital.
Not only that, but it takes you 20 years and you have higher expenses because, see, you have $100,000 and you're sharing expenses.
Exactly.
So you actually get a better advantage that way too.
Exactly.
Right.
So, you know, it definitely comes down to a few. It's more than just the simple aspect of it that we think about. Like I said, our generation specifically in this particular society has been plagued.
Oh, nice.
And not even this generation, but just our society has been plagued with the idea that it must be love over everything.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, love is going to play a part.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people think you need to go into it having the ultimate love, and then the love is going to stay as the forefront thing, right?
Right.
In actuality,
okay.
A lot of that is built.
Yes.
Like, your love is going to get stronger, but it's not going to show itself in the butterflies, right?
Right. So you have, you know, love is interesting because you have the state where you're in love, and then you have where you're actively loving someone. So you have one thing where that's how you feel, and then you have one thing that can be proven by action.
Exactly.
Here's a story. This was interesting. So I was taking my ex-wife over to her friend's house for a birthday party, and I had to go to work. And, you know, this was still, we were together, but we were, you know, our relationship pretty much was over because we had already agreed as far as the divorce is concerned. But I still took her because I was her husband at that time, so that's something I needed to do. I still need to take her up there. And so her friend was there, and when he learned that not only did I bring her up there, but I was going to come back and get her, and I was going back, driving 2 hours back to go to work in between bringing her up there and bringing her back, he was like, man, he really loves you, you know, because the action showed it. You don't have to hear anything about it because that's just something that doesn't always happen. People don't drive 2 hours to take you somewhere and then go to work and then drive 2 hours to take you back home. That, you know.
That definitely doesn't happen.
Right.
Look, y'all lucky if I come drive 2 minutes, come take y'all somewhere.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't love you like that.
Right. So you got to make sure that you don't confuse the idea of being in love with love. You know, if she makes you coffee every morning because you like coffee and that helps you get up, that's how she loves you. You know,
Exactly.
that if she's in love because she's walking around, you know, as far as with stars in her eyes and everything, that's great. But that's typically because you've done something to create that feeling.
Exactly.
She didn't just wake up and all of a sudden the stars were there and the stork just dropped that feeling in her lap. It just, you know.
And I think that goes into another topic I'd love to talk about.
Okay.
Maybe not today, but the idea of femininity. I know I asked this question
man.
before in the question of the day thread.
Yeah.
And I asked somebody, I said, hey, listen, how is a woman strong and not showing any traditionally masculine traits?
Oh.
And I got no answers, which was funny because to me, it's like, dang, are we so far removed from the idea of femininity that something like a woman being, you know, like you spoke about, right?
Right.
Her showing her love, right? When a woman speaks about being an inspiration, when they ask the question, what's brought to the table, I feel like the answers could be so easy and chicks just don't have no idea.
Right.
You know, the idea of like, hey, I'm gonna cook for you, but not because it's my job, because I want to make sure that you fed. So when you go to work, you ain't worried about being hungry. You ain't worried about what's coming. When you come home, if there's gonna be food on the table, you're gonna be well rested.
Yes.
This is why, in the yesteryear, right? The housewife, it worked so well because when you think about it, she didn't have to do a whole lot by like secularly.
Yeah, but what she did mattered to her spouse.
Yeah, it made what he did worth it.
It did. It sure did. Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things about my fiance I love is that she is very, very feminine, very girly. She really works hard for any encounter that we have to be peaceful.
Indeed.
You know, she wants me to be able to come to her and after whatever's going on in the world, be able to actually rest and not have to think about anything. And that's worth its weight in gold. You know, and when you have women like that, those are the women that don't ask for anything but are given the world.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, Batman, appreciate the sub, player.
What's up, Batman?
Yeah, it's definitely. I think those are the things that get lost in translation.
They do.
Right?
They do.
The things that we find important nowadays are the things that make marriages not last.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that you're in it for the bag, right? And when he don't got the bag no more, you ain't fucking with him.
Right. Right.
Well, you know, did you contribute to him not having the bag? You know, did
That's a
you
very good question.
stress him out to where maybe he didn't perform the way he could have performed at work because instead of getting an inspiration, he looked at the place of work as a place to rest. Maybe he rested his eyes. You know, maybe he laxed up a little bit because he couldn't relax at home.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it where because of how the relationship's going at home, you know, people get to work and they get sicker the closer they get to that door.
Exactly.
You know.
And you know, when you talk about being an inspiration, I think, you know, when a lot of men probably need to hear this kind of stuff, so they can know what to ask for, what to be looking for, right? Oh
yes.
Because I think something I brought up before, maybe in a chat or maybe I was on a YouTube stream, I was on somebody's panel.
Nice.
A lot of men, they ask what do you bring to the table?
Right.
But then if you ask them, what do you want at the table?
Right.
They don't have no answer for that. You know, a lot of them, they're going to default to cook and clean, but do they even understand what that means? You know, I have a girl here that, you know, she's not my wife, but she might as well be. You know, we just ain't papered up. Yeah. But
she takes care of business.
She takes care of business. You know, I told her, look, you know why you cooking and cleaning? Yeah. You cooking and cleaning because if I got to pay somebody else to do it, guess what that means? That's less dinners you going to.
Yep.
That's less trips you can go to.
Yep.
You're actually doing this for yourself.
Right. That's
And
true.
you're also making my day easier because I don't have to be worried about what I got for lunch. I
Right.
can go to work.
Yep.
I can do my job, sit down, know that I have food, can appreciate you, and think about you in the daytime. You
Yes.
know, while I'm at work, it's like, dang,
Yes.
I got somebody who actually make me food. I remember when I had to make my own damn food.
Exactly.
I remember when I used to have to go next door to Subway and spend all my money every week.
That's true. No, I mean, that's very important because those are the things that keep us in place.
Exactly.
You know, because at the end of it, you know, everybody's not going to look the same after 50 years.
Exactly.
Everybody
Everybody
going
can't
to
be blessed like me. I mean,
Well,
I've been looking like this since goddamn.
Yeah, I know you're 88, and I know.
You know, since the Benjamin Button curse came
True.
out, bro. You know, I've been looking like this out the womb. But for all the regular folks, they don't have that luxury of always looking the same, right? Always having that beauty that got you in.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know, I mean, listen, as unfortunate as it may be, some people gonna travel abroad for, you know, that beauty, right? But you know what?
Yep.
A lot of those people, you know why it's so hard? You always hear about the side chick, right?
Yeah.
And she always want the dude to leave his wife.
Yep.
And these dudes ain't stupid.
No.
They know why they ain't leaving their wife.
Yes.
Because while that coochie might be good, all right, while you might be putting in some work in the bedroom,
Right.
that was nice.
Appreciate it.
They know they can get that anywhere.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Push come to shove, they could pay for it in the back alley
Yes.
if need be. I mean, nowadays, where's New York? That junk might be legal.
It's getting real close.
You know, take a trip to Nevada. You can go on and get that thing how you like it from who you want it from.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you got the dollar bills.
Oh yeah, they customize it out there. Yeah.
Exactly. Shoot, here soon enough they're gonna have robots. So
Yeah.
you know that portion can be taken care of, right?
Yes.
But are you gonna be able to make sure that he get to work on time when he don't want to go to work? Are you gonna make sure when the car break down that the kids get to school?
Yeah.
Are you gonna make sure that the food is in the stomach? Are you gonna make sure that the house is clean? Oh, that was very nice. Oh, if I wouldn't have swayed back, I could have blocked that.
Yep.
But I couldn't not sway back because pressing back makes you sway back.
That's true. Yeah, I have that problem too. You know, something that you said is very important. Marriage is very interesting because you have two people who are trying to get the best deal they can.
Exactly.
And sometimes the best deal means one of them may have infidelity because everything else may be so great. I actually wrote a paper about this. I haven't posted it yet because it's interesting. But what if your deal is so good and then you're getting everything you want, but that person can't help but step out? Enter Mel Gibson. I know he was recently divorced within the last couple of years. The only reason his wife divorced him was because his infidelity went public. She knew that he couldn't keep his hands off other women. And everything that was going on was worth it as long as he kept it private and she didn't have to hear about it.
Exactly.
That's all she wanted. That's all she wanted out of it.
And
You know?
I mean, I think that, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of people probably have that kind of deal.
Absolutely.
You know, now I think that there are much worse things in my estimation. There are much worse things than infidelity that could happen in a relationship.
Yes, very true. Very true.
You know, I'm of the belief that nobody is like naturally monogamous, but we're definitely monogamous because of the benefits that come along with it.
You know, it's really interesting because the whole idea of monogamy, we've explored it a lot in America because of, our values. But if you consider kings had many wives, if you consider lots of wealthy people have had lots of concubine, very, very pretty women have had lots of men to call. That's why you have the really pretty girls who have their sushi guy, their movie guy. They have their shopping guy. They have these people. They may not be in full relationships with them, but they're emotionally invested in the parts that she needs taken care of. So, we're not getting everything from one source. And it's crazy to try to put that on a person, you know?
Especially in a situation where, we have the type of lifestyles that.
I got to duck it.
You got
you duck it. All right.
The type of lifestyles that are available out there. I mean, especially you live in a place like here, Atlanta.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you got swingers.
Yes.
You got all kind of polyamorous lifestyles.
Yes.
I mean, you got all kind of things. So if you need that, you can probably find it.
Yes.
Also, like I said, there are things that are just far worse, right? The idea, I firmly believe most things are social media and, stigmatized. I mean, maybe for a reason, right? Maybe for a reason.
Sure.
But there definitely are more. There's a reason your grandma stayed with your great grandma stayed with your great grandpa,
and your great granddad may have had
a
another
whole family
neighborhood over.
Exactly. There's a reason because she understood. Like, listen, he got his dick wet. I don't want that to be the case.
Right.
But you know what? He taking care of the house. As long as he bring that bill home. As long as I ain't got to be outside in the weather. As long as I ain't got to be outside, these kids can eat. They can grow up. He can make sure that he keeps the family structure on deck. Like, as long as these other benefits are popping off, then, I don't like that shit. But like you said, with the Mel Gibson thing, him and his wife, she's probably just like, listen, just make sure I don't have to feel like trash when I go outside. I ain't got to be answering people's questions out here in the wilderness.
Exactly.
And I think with the society we have now, it's it's a lot more equal footing between a man and a woman. But that has also led to why a lot of dudes are, really afraid of the idea of getting married, right? Because in their mind, they're thinking like, okay, well, and this is where women have outsmarted us for centuries, okay?
Right.
All the millennia, possibly.
Yes.
But definitely here in the U.S., right? Yeah. Given that the laws are what they are.
Sure.
A woman hardly won't even date a dude that is below her means.
Sure.
Unless she just has some kind of visceral attraction to this man.
Sure.
Men, we be out here fucking up.
I don't think they should, though.
They shouldn't, but, it's funny because it's kind of one of them things where it's like, buddy, it's not very wise for you to do it your damn self.
Oh, I thought I ducked it too. Well, the thing is I don't think. Okay, so I don't think everybody needs to be in a relationship or married, because I don't think everybody really wants the responsibility of having to consider another person.
Indeed.
So I'm fine with women wanting to get the best deal that they want to get, because that makes it to where men have to work and prove themselves, and it's better for men because we become more accomplished, and the more that we want, then the more we have to we have to get it done on our own before we can say that we deserve it.
Exactly. And I do believe everybody, like you said, everybody is not deserving of it, right?
Right.
Just like every woman ain't deserving of your time, every dude ain't deserving of a woman who's going to be what he thinks he deserves, right?
Right.
And ironing out the best deal. I do understand. I hear a lot of dudes. Oh, dang! I ain't break that.
Nope.
A lot of dudes, they have the biggest problem they tend to have is that the society we've grown to desire to live in has made a lot of things outrageous for the common dude, right?
Sure.
And the funny portion of that is the common guy, the common person, really needs marriage to survive nowadays. The common guy or woman, you might can live, but when you hit 70, 80 years old, with people mostly making somewhere around, $30, $40, $50,000 at best.
Nice.
When most of the economy is with those kind of numbers, it's like you might be fine right now. Are you gonna be fine at 60 years old making $40,000 a year? You probably ain't. But what's funny is the marriages that stay together the longest are the ones that they're the ones that are like $250,000 plus.
Yes.
Those marriages stay together longer, right? Because they see the value in each other.
And the thing is I don't want this conversation to kind of be warped by how we see things on social media, because not everybody's on social media. People are leaving things alone.
That's
and
true.
a lot of those people, they're happy. They're
Exactly.
fine. They don't have people trying to compare stuff. But we have a generation that's grown up on this, and so the value system is completely different, and it's really not helping them.
Exactly.
Because like I said, for a lot of people, if they were in a position where they were doing more, they would feel better. And then, like I was taught by my dad and my brothers, like, hey, when you go talk to women, you're probably only going to get a yes like 1 out of 5 times. So if that's the case, that means I need to talk to 6 women.
Exactly.
Because if I talk to 6 women and my odds are normally 1 out of 5, then I'm going to get somebody.
I'm going to find somebody out there.
Right. So, we used to take rejection on the chin and be all right. And, you had friends and y'all might talk trash or whatever afterwards in private, not on social media. And, you get out of your system. We're in a position now where things are so, they stay with you too long now. And because of social media, I'm not a fan of that, because you can't take things back, and you can't just have stuff in the air with just your friends, because people can screenshot things, they can post things. Off topic, one of the things that I think is very important is, the saying, a gentleman never tells.
Exactly.
That was really important, because if you want to get, and I'm just saying this off topic for marriage, I'm sorry, but if you want many women to do what you want them to do, they have to have confidence in you that things are going to be secret. Because some of the most unassuming women, I don't think there's anything better in life than when you walk by someone and you've had a complete night of debauchery with them, and you two walk by each other and smile like you don't know each other.
Exactly. And
Just
I
keep
think
it to
that
yourself.
that is lost very much in today's society, right? The idea of secrecy is almost laughable to some people.
I agree.
The idea of being private.
Right.
No, if I can't show it off, I don't even want it. It's
Right.
what you would possibly hear from a lot of people. They'll say, I don't even want it. If it don't look like this, I don't want it.
Right.
Well, it might look like that, but I don't need to know that it looked like that.
That's true.
And that also spurred off into like another conversation that I was going to have probably on the Mike and the Mike show.
Okay.
About identity, because I feel like, certain things people don't even need to know this junk unless you tell them. But that spurs off to something different.
That's fair. Yeah.
And that goes to your point. People don't even have to know you're married unless you tell them.
Right. They don't. It doesn't have to be a social badge unless you make it a social badge. And,
But see, that goes back to how people view marriage, right? People viewing marriage as, really, I think people view marriage as a wedding.
Yes.
And then they go back to dating. And it's like, nah, player, you already decided that this is who you're going in business with.
That's it.
You can't now decide to go. You went from, I'm going to go sign the paperwork to make the merger, and then I'm going to go back to being a part-time employee. No, that ain't how that works. Oh, good stuff.
Oh.
That is definitely one of the falls of, the modern society.
I agree.
I would like to see a society, that my grandparents had. I mean, I probably won't ever live that life.
I think it's going to get back there. I think everybody's getting tired of what's going on because it's so stressful. It's putting people in places where they can't be comfortable in their skin. It's really, I think we're going to get there, to be honest with you. Probably not in our lifetime, like you said, but oh my gosh. Never seen the okey doke before. I'm just getting.
Oh no.
Oh, the duck.
Oh, that was bad.
Oh no.
That was all bad.
Yeah, that was not.
That's what happened when it goes wrong, bro.
Listen, no.
My life bar divorced me.
No, man.
But yeah, I
He
mean,
won't- he-
hopefully it'll get there.
I think so. I do. I think this is very temporary because what's worked for millennia, it will go back to that because people are going to try to figure out what was so different that made it work out. What made it work out?
Well, I mean, that's what they thought in Rome, and then Rome fell.
True. There are lots of ideas that are very similar to what's going on with Rome right now, that are happening right now. So you're right. But maybe we need to fail. Maybe that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, well, then I'll take that after I'm gone.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Sure.
and this brings about another question. How are you feeling about bringing a little tyke into the world?
I think it'd be great. I definitely would want to have kids, and I would want to raise them to be a rational, a decent human being, just like my parents raised me, a functional non-idiot.
Indeed.
So I think the world needs a lot of those. And in order for us to get back to normalcy, we can't be afraid of bringing children in this world, because if we don't, that means we're leaving the world to idiots.
And, now here's an idea that I wonder if a lot of people think about this. I don't certainly think that I thought about it prior to thinking about it, but the idea of look, my parents could not have ever really set me up for today's society, right?
True.
Like what the parents, they basically raise you off of what worked in their life.
True.
If it's anything else, they're just guessing like you are, right?
That's true.
Now, what would you tell let's say you have a son. What do you tell your son about dating, knowing what he's going to be dealing with versus what you had to choose from?
What I would tell my son?
Yeah.
I would tell my son I would tell my son to take care of himself first, and that if he takes care of himself, he finds out what he wants to do, he gets really, really good at it. The beauty of that is it will put him in the right place at the right time for the woman that will be best for him, because she'll be in the environment that he's excelling at. And because he's going to be so skillful, it will give her another avenue to be able to respect him. Because one of the most important things that you can have is your woman's respect.
Indeed. I tell my girl that all the time. Listen, you ain't even gotta like me, but you better respect me.
Right. If she can respect you, then y'all can be ride or die.
Exactly.
Once she can't respect you, and that's why I think being able to take care of yourself is so important. Because if you put too many responsibilities on your woman, then how can she respect you? Like, you have her doing a lot of things that she was coming to you for. Like, unless the game plan itself said, hey, you're going to be doing this, baby doll, you shouldn't have any deviation. She should know what to expect from the relationship.
Yeah, I believe that, once again, that comes back to people not even knowing what they want, right?
I agree with that, yes.
It's like, listen, if you can't come to the girl and tell her, like, listen, I need you to cook my eggs, bacon, and grits every morning, Monday through Friday. Yes. That's what I need.
Yes.
If she'll respect that, right? She might not want to do it, but she'll respect it if you come to her and you tell her that's what you want.
That's true.
And you say, listen, if you do that, this is what I'm offering you. I'm offering you an opportunity of a lifetime.
Yep.
You get to live with me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pay your bills for you. You can stay at the house. You can watch over the children. These are the things I'm going to need you to do. These are your responsibilities. And I'm going to need you to do these. And I'm going to offer you this stuff so that you don't have to go out there and live on your own.
Oh, you did the extra.
Oh, yeah. Got to, always.
Well, I think that's very important. That's why I said, earlier when I was talking about you should think about what you're offering her as a sports contract, because you got to lay out the terms of why you should be wanting, this is what you have to do in order for you to get the benefits of this contract. If you make it about feelings, then what happens is
once you stop feeling you, the contract doesn't even matter no more.
Right. And you get stuck because, you were on some love stuff. and you haven't told her what you require. And if you don't tell her what you require, then you don't require anything. And
Exactly.
so there's no reason for her. You shouldn't be mad because you didn't tell her she had to do anything.
And then when she ain't doing nothing,
Right. You know,
and you start asking her to do something, she
Right.
gonna pull out.
well,
And when she pull out, it's really gonna be your fault.
it always is.
Yeah, it's gonna be your fault.
It always is. One thing that my fiance really likes about me is that she understands what will brighten my day. So there's no guessing. Like she can do extra stuff that she wants, and that can brighten my day too. But she already knows. She has like 2 or 3 aces in the hole that she's like, if I do this, he's gonna be on me, like without question.
Yeah.
So because she has that knowledge, it makes her feel phenomenal, because she really feels like she's in control of what's happening. She really feels like she knows her part of what's going on, and that's great. That's how you want you want your woman to know that she can get things done. There's a sense of I can't believe you did that to me.
I did it.
I can't believe you elbowed me. There's a sense of peace when she understands what's happening, because I know part of what's being taught now is you don't let people know where they stand as far as relationship wise, and that part is true. But I think if you lay it out like a contract and say, hey, listen, if these things aren't being met, you can expect for me not to stay around, because that's just how it's going to be, and then you got to stick to your word.
Exactly. And
Something-
like I said, that is the thing.
Oh, nice.
Listen, I found this out.
Okay.
In my years of living, you can come to a chick with the most ludicrous, not ludicrous, but she can come to a chick with the most crazy setup.
That's true.
And I mean, if you got something she like,
She'll do it.
she'll go for it. She might try it out. She might tell you later, hey, it didn't work. I don't really like that. Can we renegotiate the contract?
Yes.
But, they see value in you.
Yes.
They will respect the fact that you put your nuts on the table.
Right.
All right? You put your nuts on the table and you said, you know what?
What's really going on?
Okay? And
Yeah.
then you put them nuts on the table. You told her, listen, I want you
Yep.
to fuck around and let me do this, that, and the third.
That's right.
And this is how it's going to be.
Right.
Oh, you got something to say?
Yep.
Don't tell me about that, okay?
I'm going to tell you what it's going to be.
Right.
And the chick, she might be like, listen, I don't like that shit. I don't like how you was talking to me. But I respect it. Because most dudes out here ain't telling me nothing.
Right.
When I ask them what they want, they just let me drive the car, whatever I want.
Right. And then they're mad when I take the car somewhere.
Exactly.
One thing that you said is so important. Well, I think this is important too. Is I think a lot of men are acting like what they want. This is their girl's first time doing it. No, it's
No.
not.
It ain't.
It's not. And she's probably done it for less. So don't be scared to tell her what you want, because you're probably not the first one to ask for it. If you are, that's novel, but you have to go in there being like, well, she can do it. Because if she doesn't know and she likes you enough, she'll learn. Just like there are things that she may want from you that you may not know how to do. So you're going to have to learn how to do them if you want to keep her. So, if you both are working to try to keep each other, things work out well.
Exactly.
When one of you is trying to keep the other and the other don't care about it, then, you got some issues.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I think happens a lot in our modern day society, right? I think for the men, a lot of the times the average guy, he probably is like, man, listen, it was hard enough to just get a chick, bro. I can't lose this chick.
Right.
And then he goes around trying to do whatever he can to keep her.
You went under the mid like that? Oh, I love it. All right.
He does whatever he can to keep her.
Right.
And, that's how we get the development of what we like to call, what we call them over here, shrimps. All right.
Shrimps?
Yeah, that's when you get the shrimps over here, right? The small fishes in the sea.
Oh, no.
Doing anything to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Bottom feeding.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, well, listen, you got 1,000 of these shrimps over here on OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
They just doing anything just to taste an opportunity at it, right?
Right.
So if they get something, then their whole thing is like, I got to keep this. I got to do whatever it takes.
Right.
And then the other person on the other side of the coin,
Yes.
they're like, I'm gonna deal with you till I get tired of you.
Listen,
And the second you don't do, I'm not gonna respect you.
right.
No respect. So I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do anyway.
I already smelled the desperation.
You know, I smell the desperation coming from a mile away, like ranking odor.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? I'm gonna just stay around till you can't provide me with what you can provide me with.
Right.
Or until a better package comes along and they can provide me with the same or similar, and I might actually like them. Or maybe they might could provide me with more and I don't like them, but I don't like you and they can give me more. And it's like, all right, well, I'm dipping now. Because you're no longer of value to me. You already was of little value.
And a lot of people, they outlive their usefulness. And I think that people stay in relationships too long because I think that happens to people on both sides where folks outlive their usefulness. And that's why I think you have to date with the intention of getting married, because you don't have a reason to stay in a very long relationship unless y'all have some kind of like, we're going to do forever type of thing established. Because just being out here dating to see how things go, it puts you in a bad spot because you can always leave. So you don't get to really uncover those deep things, that the real emotion, the raw stuff that makes it a ride or die relationship, because you can always leave. When stuff gets rough, everybody's got the thread of dipping. So, you know, you're not going to go as far as you would go if you have at least some semblance of, they're not going to leave me because of this.
Yeah, and, you know, that goes back to setting those goals, right?
Yes.
You know, if the plan is, you know, something as simple as like, hey, listen, I want to go to goddamn Japan.
Okay.
The only way I can go to Japan is if you help me save for this junk. I need to go there by the end of the week, by the end of the year, right? For whatever reason. I got something I need to do. I need to go over there and talk to Naroma and tear his ass up because he's talking shit on social media. And I can't do that with my money by myself.
Oh, nice.
So knowing that that's a goal that I have, right?
Yes.
And maybe she got a goal of like, well, yeah, I also need to go to Japan.
Okay.
Because I've always wanted to visit that place, and it's my favorite city in the world is over there. Tokyo is my favorite city in the world.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's going to be almost impossible for us to do this alone.
Right.
So if we have this goal that is super important to us, I know this is a frivolous goal, both of these, but for the sake of example, oh, that was new shit. For the sake of example, if I decide that I want to go there and she wants to go there, well, you know, the next time I leave the toilet seat up, she's going to be less likely to dip because of something small.
That's true.
Next time we get in an argument,
that's true,
we're going to probably be less likely to separate and not suss it out and fix the problem because we got goals together.
That's right.
When I go to think about, dang, is it even really worth me talking about this goddamn, your tampon being all on the kitchen floor? Like, I might don't even need to talk about it. Let me just pick that shit up and throw it in the trash and keep it moving.
And keep it moving because we have bigger goals.
We got bigger goals on the way.
I think that's important. I think the game plan is important. And both people should know the game plan. And they should know what's happening. I like the idea of you having company meetings, because that's in marriage. I think it's a business, so I think, you know, you have company meetings to figure out how things are going, who's doing what. You know, if there was an event that went down, be like, hey, I don't like how this event went down. You don't attack people. You just you attack behaviors, and you figure out what you need to do in order to really make it work.
I mean, those are definitely good plans to look at things, good ways to look at things. I think that when we try to, like I said, the way our society is set up, when we try to look at things through a lens of feelings, right? It just don't work out. I mean, not much stuff that you do based on feelings ever really works out in the long run. Well, maybe in short bursts, feelings can be fairly decent, right? Like, if you feel like getting some ice cream and it's hot, you know, it might be useful for you to do that, right?
True.
But if you feel like eating ice cream every damn day of your life, and you actually go along with doing that, and you're not practical in the application of your ice cream eating, then guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up dying, okay? Sooner or later, you're gonna die. Oh shit! I don't know what the hell happened.
The no mix up. You let me do it.
And that's kind of one of the things
Oh,
that,
nice.
you know, we have to get away from. Not that feelings don't matter at any point in time, because
It's that feelings are fickle.
exactly.
So once you realize that your feelings are fleeting and they eventually lie to you, you put them as part of the package. Your feelings are important, but you've got to look at everything beyond the next 2 days, 20 days, however long you're going to stick with that feeling. So,
I was going for that low kick. All
yeah, I
day.
think that's really important because I think feelings should be acknowledged and you should always acknowledge them to be like, okay, I can understand why this has caused you to feel that way, but after the feelings are over, we got to look at things and say, okay, well, let's figure this out. Because if we don't figure it out, then it puts us in a really disadvantaged position, just a really bad position.
Kind of like me on this wall.
Listen, I'm trying to keep you on there,
Sometimes
man.
you gotta, when you're in a bad position, oh my God, you'll fuck up anyway.
I was trying to keep you over there at the hotel room, man. I had just checked you in. I wasn't
I was trying to
get
fight
you
my
out.
way out of this conversation, out of that argument, bro. But then she said something about my goddamn mama. And I had to I lost all control.
Yep, that happens. Yeah,
She said my jammy wasn't hitting like it used to.
it was the feelings. The feelings got
My
you.
feelings got in the way.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh,
So, I know we got a picture of your lady.
oh yeah,
And you, we'll pull that up after this match.
yeah.
So people can see what it looks like to have somebody by your side that you can say, you know what, I can see myself spending a life with you.
That's right.
And hopefully it works out that way.
It will. I'll tell you one thing that's very interesting about this is that I was talking to a few women after my divorce, just because I had goals and things that I needed to do. There was a specific place I needed to get to before I could even consider marriage again. Because I didn't think marriage was something that failed me. I think that there were pieces to the puzzle that I was missing. There was things I didn't understand. There was a mentality about it that I didn't have. So, I was looking at myself as like, all right, so the last marriage didn't work, and I have the idea that I was ill-equipped as a husband to make it happen. So what will make me a better husband? So then you look into leadership, you look into work ethic, you look into legitimate goals of you doing what you want to do. And that's how I came up with if I do what I want to do, just like the Bible says, I will stumble across the woman that's for me, because if I do what I want to do and I work hard at it, it will put me in the right place at the right time for her to be there. Because if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, how are we going to meet the woman of our dreams?
Exactly. Here's the woman of his dreams
Right.
displayed here.
Right.
See him in the all white.
Yeah.
She in the all white.
Yeah,
And looking good together right there.
Yeah, we were just at a fashion show,
Okay.
and so it was all white party.
Nice,
you know.
nice.
But,
And
but yeah,
listen,
it's awesome because one thing that was very different from my first marriage is that a lot of our discussions about how things went came from she liked what I was doing, and so the question became, what do I need to do to be your wife? So you have a completely different approach when you already know someone has that goal in mind and they want to be yours. So you lay it out and say, hey, these are the things that I need. And over time, with practice and her getting used to me, she's been able to consistently deliver. So when you have that happen, that's the only direction you need to go.
all right. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick little break. And when we come back, we're going to open the call lines. If you would like to call in and give your input on the subject matter, if you'd like to call in, ask some questions about the topic, go ahead and do so. And if not, we will be closing the show out. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right. Don't go nowhere. Stay prepared. We will be back. Tech and Talk.
shit. Damn, whoa! Is this a replay?
Significantly trying to do something spicy right here, just coaches it out. Oh, damn.
What was that?
Oh,
Oh,
my God. Freaky leaky deaky.
What the pastor's deeds is, okay? Where the pastor gets his learning material from, okay?
I've came and watched a lot of TEK tournaments here, and they're always so much fun. I've watched Poke Chop stream and all that, so, man, they got some killer players here in Atlanta. It's literally this kind of the place for TEK here in Atlanta.
404, we've been holding strong because of the community and people outside of Georgia. We had a fundraiser donation to keep this venue a little bit more stable financially, and we got over $5,000 in donations. So, a lot of hype, a lot of great players out here. I love seeing the energy, the passion, the trash talk, everything. Pretty much the Tekken scene in Georgia is the definition of what the FGC is all about, you know? A lot of hype, a lot of growth, development, and competition.
Y'all, we are back. It's your boy M.I. Sizzle in the building. Listen, if y'all want to jump in on the call line, all you got to do is join the Discord. And once you join the Discord, if you go over into where it says call in show link, hold on, let me pull it up for you. I gotta find out where it is. Okay, the call-in invite. If you go over to where it says call-in invite, you can join in, and we'll bring you up here on stream. You can have your face, so you ain't got to have a face. You can have your picture, and you can give us your point of view on what we're talking about here today, man. Listen, this is Tekken Talk, where we play a little Tekken, and we talk, all right? In the meantime, let me get back to putting hands on my boy over here while we make a little bit more discussion on what we got going on right in front of us. Oh, there you go. All right. You ready for these hands?
Listen, an old man trying to make it.
That's all right, man. You're gonna have a woman at home to soothe these pains when you get off. When you get onto the crib.
I'm just trying to kick you in the face a few more times, that's all.
Hey, man, I can't have it. Nice. I do think it is funny. The concept of marriage seems to be outdated to most.
Right.
And I think in some fashions it is legally. But I do think that it has its purpose.
Yes.
It has its purpose. Now, how do you feel about the idea of different forms of marriage, right? Because normally when people think about marriage,
right,
they think about going to the state, right? It's,
Okay.
it's only a real marriage if you go to the state.
Okay.
Anything else is not a marriage. And I guess maybe legally that is true. But what you're looking for out of marriage, I think, can be achieved through various means. But what's your take on that?
I think marriage it has the same form no matter whether the state's involved or not. You have two people who are agreeing to come together to be better than they would have been by themselves. Now, I think there are some interesting things based off what we talked about earlier that can go into it, such as I think usually the marriage is more successful when you have a man and woman together, because regardless of income, a man usually wants a woman for different things. So, you don't have that burden of income to matter. And I think when you start getting into different partnerships, it's business. That's what it is still. It's still business. And as long as you treat the marriage like a business, then, both people are able to identify why the business is succeeding or failing. And once you can identify why the business is succeeding or failing, then you can improve the business, just like everything else.
Indeed. And I mean, that is one of the key factors, looking at it as what it is.
What's up, Cut West? How you doing, man?
Looking at it as a business, which is how the government is going to look at it.
Right.
Like they're not looking at it. They don't care if you hate each other.
No. And see, that's what's interesting, because, if you take the idea of the standard tax deduction, right? So your spouse, even if your spouse doesn't work, the government says they're worth at least $12,500. So even if they don't do anything, they have a value on them, just like if you were in a car accident and you lost a limb or whatever the case may be. Because 12.5 G's, for a lot of people, that can change things.
I mean, there's some people who only make about 12 G's
Right.
a year.
Right. So, it's important to look at it and say, okay, there are some things that can always be contributed, whether you feel they're being contributed or not, because that's just how the system works.
Exactly.
So if you go into it and you both understand the system, you understand what you're bringing for the other person, then, you have a good chance of making it out of there.
Hey, man, listen. Y'all could look at it like this. Dudes, if you out there, your chick don't work, you get married to her, bro. She could pay for all her own dates.
She sure can.
But it's just going to come out of your pocket.
Yep.
But it's going to be her money.
Yep.
All right? The government going to give her $12,000 to go on dates.
Yep.
Y'all probably don't go on $12,000 worth of dates right now.
Exactly. As far as one thing I did as far as my first wife, because she was a housewife, I gave her a paycheck. So she had her own pocket money, because you still want people to have autonomy even if they don't have a job. And
Exactly.
I don't think that's crazy to put her in a position where she always has to look into what I'm doing, and that be the reason that she can survive. She should be able to buy her own stuff. She was able to drive her own car. She was able to, there's a lot of decisions she can make, because she wasn't stuck with, I've got to check with the provider about everything. Because if I married her, I should be all right with her decision making. If I'm not all right with her decision making, then I definitely shouldn't have married her.
Indeed. And I think that probably sounds crazy to a lot of folks, but I mean, ideally for me, I would want that, right?
Yeah.
I would want a situation where, if, right now, me and my girl ain't even married, but she basically only works because she got some personal bills.
Right.
Like some very, credit card that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
When it comes to, household bills, it comes to things that are going to make us function. I'm paying the car note. I pay the insurance. I pay the house note, the lights. I pay everything, right? In return, I can get what I need from her.
Right.
The things I need her to do. Listen, it's hard to get a woman to cook for you every day. If she also got to go to work.
Yes.
And work extra hard.
That's true.
And she has to.
Yes.
And she got to be worried about them bills, right? If she got to be worried about them bills, listen, whatever bills you made before you got to me, I ain't taking care of that. But maybe I will if things get real good. But for right now, listen, we both use the car. I'm going to pay for it. We both use the lights. I'm going to pay for it. We both live in this house. I'm going to pay for it. Hell, we go out to eat.
I'm gonna pay for it.
9 out of 10 times I'm gonna pay for it.
I'm actually gonna pay for it unless she beats me to it.
Exactly. But what that does, it gives me a certain leverage. It also gives her a certain leverage,
It
right?
does, yeah.
It gives her leverage to say, listen, you don't pay for something, I could be up out of this motherfucker right now.
Now,
right?
I'll tell you something interesting that I've been doing, and it's been working out very, very well. So, with my girl, how well she treats me at dinner is how well the server's going to get tipped. So if we have a good time at dinner and we have a lot of fun, the server gets a big tip. So, she's always on more than her best behavior because she knows that someone else's livelihood also depends on how she treats me.
Look at that. I mean, listen, these are all creative things. Like, a lot of people think that relationships have to be a one-way thing and that they have to be dull. They don't have to be dull. I mean, they might get there from time to time. I mean, people are going to get tired of each other from time to time. But, like I said, you want to be able to have leverage on both sides, right? And you want to be able to have a person that you can enjoy your time with, somebody who's going to be, I think for a man it's very important to have a woman who's on your game plan, right?
I agree.
We live in a modern time where maybe not everybody believes in that, right? And I mean, you do what works for you. But as a man, it is my belief that if you can't get her on your program, it's going to be hard for her to respect you, right?
I agree.
If you on her program, she probably going to look at you like a kid. Like, maybe it won't start out like that, but she might eventually get there.
I think so. I think it happens because if you look at media and you look how men are portrayed on sitcoms, they're portrayed as bumbling idiots. So all you do is prove the TV show right when you don't have a game plan of your own and you end up looking like you're just wandering aimlessly behind her trying to figure things out.
Exactly.
So no, I think it's very important that you have a game plan, you express your game plan, and you give her the choice of whether she wants to get on your game plan or not.
Exactly.
Because most men will want to provide for their woman and make their dreams come true because it's part of our makeup. That's not the same. It's not the same way.
Yeah, they're not designed for that. Like that.
Yeah.
I'm not yet, in all my years of living, in all my years of asking this question, I ain't yet met the woman who told me it's been her lifelong dream to find a husband,
right,
and take care of him and the kids, and he just stay at home.
It.
I ain't heard it yet.
Never
now,
seen it.
I might have seen something close to it exist.
Sure.
But it was purely circumstantial, or it was the best she could do. So that's what she ended up with. But I ain't never seen it where she wanted that.
Right.
Whereas it's quite different for dudes. Like,
right.
Dudes, you almost don't have to tell them anything. They almost have provisionary spirit in their body.
Yes.
It comes across that way. It feels that way.
That's right. We like doing it.
And it's like I don't even think twice about the idea of like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to take care of my wife and kids. Like, that's not a question to me. If I'm gonna get a wife and I'm gonna get kids, I'm taking care of everybody.
Right.
But I also have the distinct pleasure of knowing that the responsibility is gonna fall on me, whether or not I want it to.
Yeah.
So
we feel very good when we're getting the job done.
Exactly.
So
and also when the job ain't getting done,
I
can't point over to my wife.
No.
She could have spent all the money.
Yes.
They're gonna tell me why I let my wife spend all the money.
Right. Why did I let her do that?
Why did I let her do that? Right.
Right.
It's all independence until somebody fuck up.
Yep.
It is, and that's another interesting thing. It's just there's a lot of interesting viewpoints and takeaways you can take from a conversation like this, and I'm very glad to have you on and giving that perspective, because you're giving a perspective that I think not a lot of people hear. Right? A lot of people hear, I want to be married. A lot of people hear, you should get married.
Right.
But a lot of them don't understand, like, hey, what's actually involved? How can I actually make this work in a real tangible way that is not going to sound like some bullshit, right? That's not going to sound like some shit I don't want to do. If I told you, like, listen, bro, you can get you a girl and she'll let you have girlfriends.
Yep.
If you put it out there first. and you tell her, listen, I'll pay for all the bills and let you you let me have a girlfriend on the side, she might be down for that.
You'd definitely be surprised at what people will agree to if everything's out in the open.
Exactly.
I think we talked about how a lot of people are taught to be nice. And I think we talked about this in the past, how being nice is pretty dishonest. Because a lot of times
agreeable.
what you're doing is you're doing stuff for other people, and you're expecting something in return, but you haven't told them yet what it is.
Exactly.
So you've got a one-sided deal the other person doesn't know about. And so if you're being nice and then you're upset that someone doesn't do what you think they should do, how can you actually be mad at them? They didn't know the deal to begin with.
Exactly. In fact, me and my girl, we talked about this earlier today. She was saying something about maybe a coworker or somebody she knows up close to the job.
Right.
And he had been going on dates with this chick for like the last, I guess, 2 months.
Why?
Consistently. And then he saw her out with his roommate.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was hurt. And then she was like, oh, I didn't know that was your roommate. I didn't know we was exclusive. You know, and in his mind, you know, in his mind, it was like, I mean, we've been on dates, though.
That's true. That's true. He paid for dates.
But to your point, he wasn't upfront.
That's right.
He was being agreeable, going along to get along.
Yep.
And then she got along with another guy, happened to be his roommate.
Sure. Why not? I mean, her deal was great. Nothing was required of her, and she was benefiting from dates. Why would you not take that deal? That's crazy.
Exactly.
That's crazy talk.
Exactly. And I mean, listen, we all would like to think we're morally superior. In actuality, we only morally superior to what people ain't gonna judge us on, and we're gonna have to deal with it.
True.
Because people could judge you on a lot of stuff, but if you ain't got to deal with the judgment,
it
don't really even matter that they're gonna judge you. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what, bro. This is one of the most real scenarios somebody ever positioned to me. And, you know, I said to myself, I know what my answer is.
Right.
But I don't know what my answer would actually be.
Okay.
When I think about it all, somebody said, listen, think about the thing that you hold closest to you moralistically.
Okay.
And then somebody give you $10 billion to break that moral.
Right.
As long as it's not killing somebody, taking the life of somebody else, how well are you going to stick to that moral? And I said, listen, bro, it's my morals. I'm going to stick to it. $10 billion, though, that's a lot of goddamn blessings. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
That's a lot of goddamn forgiveness I can pray for.
It's a lot of forgiveness you can buy.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's funny because I mentioned that to say, like, listen, being in certain positions,
right?
If you was that chick, to your point, like, you didn't require nothing of me.
Nope.
You know, you wanted to offer me these meals. I mean, I don't know if he getting the cheeks. I hope he was getting the cheeks at least.
Well,
you know, at the very least, he's getting some cheeks, or that was some real good quality time he got out of it. Maybe she told him some financial advice.
She may have.
Know.
Yeah,
I don't know what she could have told him. Maybe she told him a good story that he'll never forget.
Now, to be honest with you, I'll say this, and this is something I think is lost. Being with a woman, your intentions should be clear. But for most men, if you're with a woman and she appears happy with you, she's already started payment socially because you look better. You know, that is something I think is lost. That's why escorts get hired to go to business dinners and stuff like that, because they make you look better. And sometimes, you know, we take that for granted.
True enough. But I think that there is, once again, you have to think about the type of environment that we're in. Like, you know, this is, at least with the escort, I know.
Yeah.
I know you doing your job.
That's right.
We made that negotiation up front.
That's right.
We came to the table. We acted on it in a way that we knew we were going to act on it. Right?
And what is the actual difference between telling the escort up front, hey, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to give you, versus when you set up the relationship, you say, hey, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to give you.
Hey, they don't want to hear that, though. They don't want to hear that. They're going to say we're calling them all kinds of prostitutes.
Well,
but listen,
you know,
at the end of the day, transactions are transactions. It is what it is. We can slap whatever name that you want to slap on it.
Sure.
But I think the danger that a lot of people see, right? Because, once again, you and me, we're a little older, right? The people that we're going to be dealing with, they're less likely to be on the BS.
Yeah.
You know, but when I think about this, I think about the younger people, right? I think about the people who are going to have to deal with the crowd that is out here, right?
True.
People that are our age, you know, they pretty much, they already done lived through most of the BS.
Right.
And they can see the rest of it on the way. But what do you say to somebody who ain't never really been with nobody?
Mm-hmm.
You know, online dating is like normal dating to them.
Right.
It's like they don't even know a world without that.
Okay. All right.
What do I say to somebody who's lived their whole life on the internet?
Okay.
They're only used to that show me everything, that lack of privacy we talked about before, right?
Right. A couple things I would tell you is that we'll say I'm talking to my son again.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing I would tell my son is if you're online and you like her, you need to move from online to offline as quickly as possible. So if she likes you, you should be moving from DMs to phone numbers, to phone calls, video calls. You need to move there quickly because one, just like in sales, the longer you stay at that position and she gets used to it,
the harder it is
to move up. So, you know, you're trying to get there as quickly as you can. Exactly. Once you can get face-to-face and physically be present, then no matter what people think.
Appreciate that raid, Genghis.
Oh, Genghis, appreciate the raid. Once you get face-to-face, there is a part of responsibility that, you know, people take because they have a face, they have a person. You know, you're no longer just an online code. You're a person.
Exactly.
So most people are going to treat a person better than they would treat their online avatar.
But see, there is the assumption that you're dealing with people that are like how we are.
Well, the thing is that even if we're not dealing with people like how we are, moving through that chain quicker, it gets them out of your life.
That's
It
true.
either makes it to where it's a more substantial relationship, or it gets them out of your life quicker. If you stay online for years, that can be a super problem.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you staying online for years, I don't even know, you know. But once again, I got to think along the lines of like somebody who is not having my experiences, right?
Yes.
Thinking outside of myself, maybe somebody could do that, stay online for years, and it has happened. So I can't say could happen.
I can't believe you gave me that.
It has happened. I had to. I had to try it.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, you know, it's like, hey, when it comes down to it, you know, some people will go through the most to use you, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
True.
you know, that is kind of what people are having to deal with out here.
True.
And it's a different beast. So it would be interesting to see how that would really pan out in real life. But the things about that is, you know, I think a lot of that comes in prophesying as opposed to, you know,
Nice.
dealing with it as it has happened.
True.
You know, instead of reacting, the idea is like, listen, you got to put forth this effort and see that coming from a mile away to deal with a lot of this stuff.
True.
And I think that is ultimately what's going to have, it's going to help out the newer generation, you know, unless Rome goes to shit, which
True.
is on its way. It's
True.
on its way. Oh. You. I wanted it. You know, I know you're using Lee. I had my students do an exercise using Lee.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, well, both of them had to use Lee, and I gave them limited moves so that they could learn how to play very good neutral.
Oh, yeah, because Lee's very good for that.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good because nothing's tricky. Nothing's, you know, you just out here.
Doing what you need to do. Nice.
Oh,
got him.
Oh, yeah, he got me.
Got him.
Staying upstairs, man. Staying upstairs.
Hey man, you know it was noise down there. You shuffling around for the goddamn Ruger when you needed it to be downstairs checking on the family, bro.
That's true. That's true. And it happens sometimes, man.
Hey.
I thought the basement was flooded, so I didn't want to go down there.
Hey, well listen, it happens to the best of us.
That's true.
We're gonna get two more games in.
Okay.
And being that nobody has jumped on the call line, we'll let you close out with the closing statements.
Okay.
And we'll call this show one for the books.
Cool.
And I hope you all are enjoying Tech and Talk. You know, you like this format. We're going to be coming back with Mike and Marty, I believe, on the 19th. So be on the lookout. We're going to be doing a little bit more shows, give you a little bit more content here. You know, I've been lacking a little bit on the content. I know how I've been doing. You know, I'll be streaming once every 25 days. Nice. Got him on the way up. Got him on the way up. Got him.
Nice.
Oh, no break. Oh yeah. Wavy Mooj. What is that? Wavy Mooj? It's definitely good content here. Our boy LeeVanDam had a lot of good stuff. He brought up a lot of good points. Definitely is. It's one of them subjects where if you get too much of a lopsided viewpoint of it, you could really end up getting screwed one way or the other.
That's
right?
true.
You could end up missing out on something that's good for you, or you could end up running into something that is horrible for you.
That's true. Yes.
Like, you see how he ran into that down back three? It was a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
He didn't think about it.
I even pushed the button too.
Whereas, you know, you see how you could have a good situation like myself. Oh, never mind. I ran head first into it too.
Yep.
And it's just that easy to make a mistake if you don't have the proper information, right? Everything is like a fighting game. Oh, that killed me. You know, everything is like a fighting game.
Yeah, that's true. The strategy's there. You got to have a game plan. You've got to have go-to moves that you're going to. You've got to show what you have to offer. Sometimes you have to let people talk. You can't be pushing buttons all the time. Sometimes you have to listen in the conversation, figure out what's going on.
And sometimes you got to take big risks.
That's true. That's true.
To get a bigger payoff.
You have to be willing to take the L to get what you want. I think that's the most important thing that I can definitely tell my son is, you know, if you're not willing to lose what you want, then you're not going to get it.
Exactly.
You know.
Good stuff. I don't want to lose the streak, so I got to beat them cheeks. Oh, good stuff.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm dead.
Oh no.
I lost the streak.
The streak is over.
The streak is over. The streak is over.
Oh man.
That was rough. All right, we're gonna take this last one home for the books.
All right.
All right, this is a winner takes all.
Okay.
Winner takes all.
I believe I've already won though, because I'm honored to be here, sir.
Hey, listen, the people are the one that won. They got this valuable information from a good source, a credible source,
right.
A man who's lived the dream and is reliving the dream.
That's right. That's right. It was a dream the first time, and you know, it did not turn into a nightmare. I was ill prepared for what I needed to do. So, you know, all you can do is learn. All you can do is learn.
Nice.
That looked like Tekken 5 right there.
That was good stuff.
Oh, nice.
Caught him downstairs.
Caught me downstairs.
Oh, caught him downstairs again, but he was ready. He came down with a shotgun. I backed up out the back door.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, nice.
Oh! I could have just 1-2-4'd you. Now I'm going to pay.
I'm surprised they didn't kill me. That jump don't take no damage.
No. No damage at all. No damage at all. Like the first kick, no damage. The second kick, no damage, and is low parryable. It's like it's funny because it's one of the worst things you could ever do, but it works so well.
Listen, I got them alley kicks. I know about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm down there.
Oh, look at that trade.
Cheating.
You know what?
Cheating.
Oh,
He tried it. He tried it. He tried the online strap me.
I did. I hadn't done it all day, so why not?
Hey, I feel you.
Yeah.
So any last word? Let's go over here to Travis and see. Sorry, not Travis. LeeVanDam.
That's fine. I mean, my name's on Twitter. They know.
They know who you are.
They know
Listen.
who I am. Yeah.
All right. Well, would you like to give the people some last words regarding the topic?
All right. Well, first, like I said, it's an honor, and I really appreciate you having me. It's been a long time, but I'm glad to be back. As far as marriage, do I think marriage is for everyone? No. Do I think that almost everyone can benefit from marriage if they go into it properly? Absolutely. It's something where everyone can win. And we live in a time now where there is more available to everybody involved. It's not just for kings. It's not just for lords. And, you know, it's for everyone involved. So if you do your research, you find out what you want to do in life, do what you need to do to get very good at that, to secure yourself and be able to take care of yourself, because I think you'll have one of the best lives you can have once you're taking care of yourself, doing what you want to do, and that person that's meant to be on that journey will be there for you. I like to call it that for men, you find the woman of your dreams. And here's the question. How can you actually find the woman of your dreams if you haven't realized your dreams yourself?
That's good.
You know,
So
so
good.
with that, I appreciate you. You guys take care. God bless. Again, pleasure having me on. If you do like this 8-bit shirt, you can get over at the Mistrap Movement clothing store. I'll hit that link up for you. You know, I had to get that cheap plug in because I love it.
Oh, most definitely. Listen,
And they had
plug
to.
all day.
Listen.
Plug all
Had
day.
to.
That's what
You
we
know. Yeah,
You can't come here and plug. I'm a whole
Right.
electrician. This is what plugging is what we do.
I heard that. So,
Make sure y'all follow them over there on Instagram,
Yep.
Mistrap Movement.
Mistrap Movement, we're talking about video games, we're talking about finances, and we're also talking about women. I already got the okay from my fiance, so she's like, keep it safe for work, we'd be all right. So,
All right. Well, that works for me.
Can't beat that, right?
Well, y'all know over here we don't keep nothing safe, but
Well,
we kept it safe for him. You know what I'm saying? We kept it safe for him. We'll keep his
That's right,
brand
Nino.
looking good.
I appreciate you, Nino. It's good to see you. Good to hear from you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this out for us, folks. Listen, it's been a great time, as usual, giving y'all the information that you need to succeed, all right? Make sure y'all go pick up one of them shirts. I should have been wearing it. You know, I don't judge. I speak on observations. You know, that's the motto over here. That's really the motto for Mike on the mic, but, you know, I'm Mike on everything at the moment. So make sure y'all go check that out. You can type !judge in the chat, and it'll take you right to the link. Appreciate y'all coming out. Make sure you're here as we got more shows coming up. We got the Mike and Marty show gonna be coming back, I think on the 19th of July. We got a perspective show gonna be coming out, so you're gonna be getting some perspectives from various people, hopefully like a round table discussion. So we're gonna be looking forward to doing that. Of course, we got Mike on the mic. Also, if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go hit this link up, LeeVanDam, and go check out Spreadshirt. You can pick up some of those fire gear that he has over there, especially for you Lee mains. He's right up your alley. If you like Tekken, or if you just want to support him for coming out here and showing up and giving you some knowledge, you know the game is to be sold, not to be told. So go ahead and make a purchase. All right. Nonetheless, it's been great having you all here. Look forward to seeing you all again in the future. And listen, we're going to get y'all a schedule so y'all know when to tune in. As of right now, we ain't got no goddamn schedule. But y'all know what it is. Hit that notification bell, and you don't have to worry about that. All right? Every time I come online, you'll be here. I'll do a test stream. Just show your ass up and tell me the sound's good. All right. Any way you can help out, we always